What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sailboat's Restoration. Right now, I'm going to be utilizing a new product which was shipped out to me recently by BashBoyKicks. BashBoyKicks reached out to me on Instagram and said that they were doing some work as far as trying to formulate a new sneaker cleaner, as well as an icing product to help with the deoxidation of yellowed outsoles and midsoles on sneakers, and I figured that I might as well do a little bit of research and development. This is the first batch of sole sauce and sneaker cleaner that has been sent out to me by BashBoyKicks, and I'm really excited to go ahead and give it a try. As you can see right here, I have my sneaker cleaner as well as my sole sauce right here. BashBoyKicks labeled this up with some directions, and I'm going to go ahead and follow those directions pretty much exactly as they said. A couple of things I want to point out is, again, this is R&D right here. A little bit of research and development. BashBoyKicks is just getting these products out onto the market and was looking for a little bit of feedback. So I said, yeah, I'd love to help out, give them a try, and give a little bit of my honest feedback. At any rate, what I want to do is go ahead and compare this new product against some of the tried and true sneaker cleaners and de-yellowers that I have utilized in the past. I'm going to use this pair of Kyries 6s, which is in incredibly beat and dirtied condition, to test the cleaner. I will be doing BashBoyKicks on the right shoe. On the left shoe, I'm again going to be using the BashBoyKicks cleaner on the right shoe. On the left shoe, I'm going to go ahead and utilize Rejuvenator. So we'll see what these sneakers look like after a nice deep clean using BashBoyKicks versus the tried and true Rejuvenator and Jasonmarkk products. Now, the other product that I need to give a shot to is the Frost Sauce, as BashBoyKicks calls it. Utilizing BashBoyKicks on the right of this Jordan 1 City of Flight pair, and on the left shoe, I'm going to go ahead and use Raleigh Restoration ice cream because I know that that's a product that has definitely worked for me in the past. On this pair of foam posits, these blue chrome posits right here, I'm going to go ahead and use the BashBoyKicks on the right shoe, and I am going to utilize Angelus Soul Bright on the left shoe. Again, comparing a tried and true product to BashBoyKicks Frost Sauce. I'm really excited to see exactly what's going to happen. Stay tuned to find out what the final product looks like. For my icing process, on both of the right shoes, I use BashBoyKicks Frost Sauce. For the left shoe, on the chrome posit, I ended up using Angelus Soul Bright, and on the Jordan 1 City of Flights, I ended up using Raleigh's Restoration Ice Cream. Alright, the first application of BBK's Soul Frost on both the right foam posit and the right Jordan 1. On the left Jordan 1, we use Raleigh's Restoration Ice Cream, and on the left chrome posit, I used Angelus Soul Bright. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and throw these sneakers into my indoor setup. I'm going to let them go for a 48-hour cycle. We'll take them out and do some comparisons. Now that we got the chrome posits and the Jordan 1 City of Flights in the ice box, we gotta give this BashBoyKicks cleaner a try. Again, the right shoe for both these Janowskis and the Kyries 6s will be washed using BashBoyKicks. The left shoe will be washed with the Kyries using Jasonmarkk. The Janowskis will be cleaned using Rejuvenator. Let's get down to business. So at this point in time, I'm ready to get my cleaning going. To keep things as even as possible, I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon of each cleaner separated into these Tupperware containers. So I'll line up each container with the shoe that it will be cleaning. It smells pretty good. It smells almost like just a detergent, really. Now I know this isn't exactly the recommended application of Rejuvenator or Jasonmarkk, but for the sake of keeping everything even, this is how I'm going to do it. Gonna need to re-up on my Rejuvenator cleaner real soon here. That's about all I got left is a tablespoon. So now I'm gonna go ahead, fill these up with water. You can see that BashBoyKicks cleaner's got a nice foam at the top there, which is something I like to see, is a lot of sudsing action. So something else important worth mentioning is I want to make sure that I'm spending about the same amount of time on each shoe. So I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for 10 minutes. Might be able to see that, might not be able to. But that will be my timer for each shoe. We are officially done cleaning those sneakers. Now it's time to let them sit overnight in front of a fan so that they can dry out real quick. We'll have to take some comparison shots once they are 100% dry, but so far, I like what I see. We're here, it's about 24 hours after the first wash on these Kyries and Janowskis. Just a refresher, on the right shoe in each pair, I used some BashBoyKicks cleaning solution. On the left shoe of the Kyries, I use Jasonmarkk. On the left shoe of the Janowskis, I use Rejuvenator. So first, we'll take a look at the Janowskis here. And you can tell that even after a solid deep clean, both of them are still pretty darn thrashed. Now these things were in absolutely beat condition to begin with, but they do look a bit better after cleaning. One thing that I noticed on the Janowskis with both the Rejuvenator and the BBK cleaner is that the material was a little bit stiffer after it's dried out in front of a fan for about 24 hours. I was very pleasantly surprised with the BBKicks cleaner is that the midsoles cleaned up very, very easily, and I thought that was pretty impressive. I was actually rather taken aback by how well the BBK cleaner had actually gotten into some of these crevices on the soles and helped to clean up the midsole without any other sort of cleaning utensil. Normally I like to use a magic eraser to go around and really get the grime off, but these ones actually turned out pretty decent, and it actually got halfway quite deep into the soles of the shoes there. Now if I was really trying to get these super clean, I probably would have used a little bit of a different brush, but I'm not too worried because these things were already beat, and again, we were really just testing the cleaner. Take a look comparatively to the Rejuvenator. I think the uppers look pretty much the same. I don't think that either of them looks any better or any worse. I think that the midsoles were a little bit more challenging to clean with the Rejuvenator. Not to say that it did a bad job, however, I think it was just a little bit more of an effort on my part. The Rejuvenator also did halfway decently getting into the sole of the shoe, and you can tell that it got into those crevices. But on the crevices of the vulcanized portion of the sole right here, you can tell that it is not quite as clean, at least in my opinion. Overall, the BBK cleaner worked really nicely on the Janowskis here, and I think it was pretty much on par with Rejuvenator as far as overall washing capability. The next pair, these Kyries. Again, on the left shoe, I use Jasonmarkk, and on the right shoe, I use BBK cleaner. Now these Kyries were already beat to death beforehand and had mud and dirt deeply, deeply embedded into both of the sneakers. Now one thing that I was again really impressed with as far as the BBK cleaner is that the harder surfaces of the sneaker, such as the strap and the midsoles and the soles, actually cleaned up very, very nicely. Even this back portion of the shoe near the heel collar cleaned up a little bit more easily on the harder surfaces. Now obviously you can tell that the toe cap is still very, very deeply stained all across the board, but you can see that there was a very good amount of wicking that occurred. Wicking, of course, being the process by which the cleaner brings dirt and grime to the surface. So sometimes sneakers can actually look a little bit worse after their first cleaning because of wicking. These look a hell of a lot better, but still you can tell that a lot of work would need to be done. If we take a look at the soles here, these are also looking a lot better than they did before. They're by no means perfect, but they actually look pretty solid. Coming over to the left shoe, which was treated with Jasonmarkk, you can see on the toe cap there, still a very good amount of wicking occurred. The straps and the harder portion of the sneakers looking pretty darn clean. Jasonmarkk did a halfway decent job with that. I think that it was about the same amount of effort, but I don't think that it got quite as clean as the BBK cleaner. Now on the uppers, you can tell a lot of wicking also occurred using Jasonmarkk. Now one of the things that I think may have actually happened is that the actual grime and dirt may have been brought a little bit closer to the surface. So I'd imagine that it's going to come out a little bit more easily during the next clean should I want to put another clean on this pair of sneakers. Overall, they're still crazy beat, but still look a lot better than where we started off originally. Really enjoyed using this product. I think it worked very well, and I think that overall as a cleaner, it did a great job. It doesn't have an especially strong odor, either pleasant or unpleasant. I think that it could maybe benefit by the utilization of a little bit of fragrance to make the sneakers smell a little bit nicer after you're done cleaning them. Not that the sneakers smell bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they just smell pretty neutral after being cleaned. It's a really good option, and I'm really looking forward to see what sort of upgrades they can make to make this product even better. Now, we're about 48 hours after the initial application of the frost sauce, and I think it's about time that we took a look to see how are these ice soles gonna turn out. All right, now that I got these sneakers out of the ice box, I gotta make sure that I wipe them down properly, get all of the sole sauce off there, and we'll take a quick comparison video to see what they look like. When trying to catch quality pictures and videos of the icing process, it's important to wipe all the ice off the bottom of the sneakers as to not have any white residue. Now that we got the sauce cleaned off of all of our sneakers here, let's go ahead and take a quick preliminary look to see what it looks like after the first 48 hours worth of icing. Now on the foams here, on the right shoe, I used BBK Frost Sauce. On the left shoe, I use Angelus Soulbright. Now, based off of my initial impression here, I really can't see a lot of difference between the two of them. One thing that I would like to mention is that BBK Frost Sauce had a little bit of an easier application because it was a little bit more of a viscous product versus the Angelus Soulbright is very thin and runs quite a bit easier. Realistically though, both sneakers look really good. I would say that the sauce on both dehydrated after about the same amount of time. It was definitely time to clean them up and get a new layer on there. Overall, first impression with the frost sauce, looks like it does a pretty good job in comparison to Angelus Soulbright. Not bad at all. Second up is this pair of Jordan 1 City of Flights. Again, on the right shoe, I use the BBK Frost Sauce. On the left shoe, I use Raleigh Restorations Ice Cream. Now I would like to mention that with the ice cream, I feel like it was a little bit more hydrated at the end. I actually would have felt totally comfortable leaving it one more 24-hour session without any sort of repercussions. As far as the actual icing is concerned, it looks like both products did just about an equal job. Both of them look almost equally as icy. I think the left shoe was probably in a little bit worse condition to begin with, but overall, they look great. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more 48-hour session with both of these pairs with the same exact products that I used before, just to get an idea what 4 full days in the icebox would look like. For the second icing process, I actually utilized the same exact technique that I utilized for the first icing process, and I left the shoes in my indoor setup for another 48-hour session to see what kind of de-yellowing I could get after 2 full 48-hour sessions. Alright, all of these kicks are now sauced up and ready to be put back in the icebox. We're going to do one more 48-hour session, and then we'll take them out for a final comparison and see what the difference is. So at this point in time, I got the Jordan 1 City of Flights as well as my blue chrome posits out of the ice box, and we are ready to give them a final wipe down and try and see how icy that we got these soles after 4 full days sitting in my indoor set. Alright, the sneakers are all wiped down now. Let's get into a comparison to see which ones are looking the best. We'll start off with the Jordan 1 City of Flights. Now, just as a reminder, the right shoe was treated using BBK Frost Sauce, and the left shoe was treated using Raleigh Restoration Ice Cream as a control, because I've used it many times in the past and it's worked very well. As you can see, both of the shoes are looking substantially better from where we started. The left shoe had a bit more yellowing to begin with, and I think some more embedded grime, so I don't think that one was going to come out quite as well to begin with, but it actually looks much better with the help of the Raleigh's Restoration Ice Cream. Now you can see on the right shoe here, that BashBoyKicks Frost Sauce really did the job trying to get those soles nice and icy. There's a few spots on the heel where there was a little bit heavier grime that it didn't get all the way completely icy, but realistically that's a minimal complaint. Additionally, like I mentioned before, that BBK Frost Sauce is nice and viscous, so it's an easy application. I also didn't see too much dehydration after 2 full days of being under the indoor setup. So I think that that's something that's a really big benefit, is you can get 2 full days out of an icing session indoors, and it's easy application. Coming over to the blue chrome posits, we did a very similar experiment where the right shoe on top there was treated using BBK Frost Sauce. The left shoe was treated using Angelus Sole Bright. Now, one thing that I noticed during this application is that on both sneakers, especially on the heel with the colored pods, there's a little bit of discoloration from the Frost Sauce as well as the Sole Bright. Now, I typically don't tape off those colored pods, but it's good to know that both of those products are strong enough that it's going to cause a little bit of discoloration there. But that color should come back as you start to wear the shoes a little bit more. But it's just something to keep in mind when you're applying any sort of sole brightening product. Overall, there's not really a huge difference between the BBK Frost Sauce and the Angelus Sole Bright. As far as my initial trial is concerned with BBK Frost Sauce, I have to say I'm very impressed with the product. I think that they're doing a wonderful job over there, being a product that's easy to use but also very effective. I think the next step is going to be to take that Frost Sauce and try to apply it to a shoe that's been severely yellowed to see how well it does with the sneaker that's in a really beat up condition. So we'll have to give that a try next. But for now, I'm going to just appreciate the results that I got on these 2 pairs because they're looking great. Now, this video is in no way, shape, or form sponsored at all. I actually purchased the BashBoyKicks products at cost, including shipping, in order to do a little bit of research and development. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity, and I can't wait to see what the company does moving into the future.